Part 2. Fantastic. Right. So, we left the first episode of a general inspection of the underbody. The other thing that you could also check is inside the boot, on the inside of the arches where the seam meets the boot floor, because that will be the first sign that there's rot going on before you've even taken the arch liners off. But we'll come to that at some other point. But for now, we need to get on. I've got the fuse box open to get access to those wiper relays, because I want to try and experiment with that. But the first thing is we need to deal with the most common items that are going to let me down. And I'm going to come over to my parts chest over here, because we are going to do a lot of things relating to the cooling system and the power steering. So, power steering fluid, plenty of it. CHF fluid. I use the Granville stuff. You've seen enough of that in the last 12 months. I'll be doing the usual procedure, because somewhere down here I have obtained the correct power steering switch. There are 3 power steering switches for a Mark 1. This is one of them, 1076645. This would be for Zetec engines only, because every Zetec engine, whether a 1.8 or 2 litre and a Mark 1, will have air conditioning. That's the UK models. I can't comment on any other models, especially in Europe and America. But I presume it would have aircon anyway. This is the correct switch. And it goes just here. Nice, accessible position down there. So we end up draining a lot of the fluid through there. We'll put a new switch in, and then we'll bleed the system out by siphoning the old stuff into a container and putting the new stuff in. That's one of the first jobs, because quite frankly, there are 2 things that will leave your Mark 1 stranded. Maybe more than 2, I don't know. But 2 things that are very easy to change. Power steering switch. These are bursting on members' cars with regularity at the moment, and it is leaving people stranded. Aftermarket ones, don't trust them. Don't trust them. And it's been proven that they will probably only last 12 months to a couple of years based on an average. That's 3 members have fitted aftermarket ones and have sworn that. The genuine ones, these have lasted 20 odd years. They'll last 20 years again. So you fit this now, you'll never have any worries. Fit and forget. They might be expensive, but they're not. Well, actually, they've gone down in price. They used to be 65, now they're 50. Then we will look at the cooling system. Oh, the second thing that would actually fail and leave you stranded is this thing. Yes, it is a crankshaft position sensor. You must change this. It is the first thing that I change on every single modern vehicle. That will be the parts number 6740816. That will be for Zetec models, Sigma models, completely different parts number. Still, it's the same sort of sensor. It's a Hall effect sensor, and it basically triggers via a gap in the teeth of the flywheel, okay? And that tells the ECU, in conjunction with the camshaft position sensor, which is at the back here, I think. I assume so anyway, it's just there. What position the engine is in. What position is everything in for the ignition timing and fueling, etc. Change it. This is, despite appearance, this is a genuine Ford one, because it's had, I'll just burst open the packet. It's had its Ford badge removed. I'm not quite sure why. Please don't tell me it's a dodgy one. Okay. Do you see there where my thumb is? There should be a little Ford logo right at the end of my thumb there. It's been etched out and I can see where it used to be. This is a genuine Ford sensor. Do not buy aftermarket ones. They will fail just as aftermarket power steering switches fail. They'll give you a couple of years and they'll fail. You don't want that. Just buy genuine. They're about 40 quid. I think that's expensive for what it is, but it will give you 15, 20 years. So it's a no-brainer. I will fit this and forget. It will leave you stranded because you have no spark. The ECU will have no reference point as to the position of the engine. We have a coolant bottle, which is an aftermarket one from Febby Bilstein. I'll give that a chance, because the old one, well, you've seen it. We have a coolant pipe. This is a weak point on Zetec engines. I've mentioned this before. This one looks like an aftermarket one. In fact, it's broken on one of the clips. It's an aftermarket one, and I don't like them. I view them with suspicion. You can buy these for 10 quid aftermarket. This was 28. Just buy the genuine ones, because they will last about 10 years. I think you should change this every 10 years personally. This was made, it was used by, but it was packed quite recently. But that's the parts number 1108264. There is someone who manufactures metal ones. I think that's a very, very good idea, but I couldn't find any, and they are expensive. So I've replaced it with another plastic one and change this at the same time as doing the rest of the cooling system. It's an absolute no-brainer, this pipe. It will crack and it will fail on you. Again, the third weak point. These anti-roll bar links, so this is not a failure point, but I'm going to change these because I'm going to be cleaning up the suspension, give it a bit of a wire brush down, not a massive one, but these are Lemforder, genuine Lemforder anti-roll bar links. It was a Mini Cooper. So I'm going to change them because they're the easiest part of the suspension to change. So why not? I've got them and I'll put them straight on. This car's going to get a combination of genuine and aftermarket parts, the same as 50 Shades. The most important, if I can get genuine, I'll get genuine. If I have to go aftermarket, I'll go aftermarket, like an aftermarket bottle, etc. Okay. There are a few. There's so many things that I could swap and change, but I've got to be very careful with where I spend my money. But because I've got these, I'll fit them, because this will be a car deserving of these. Thermostat housing with a brand new thermostat. I have mentioned about this car's inability to warm up quickly. The thermostat in this car, and I think that thermostat housing, are the originals, and they crack all the time down here, and they just lose their seal. So change it. I suspect this might have a problem, but I'm going to change it with the rail, the bottle, and the thermostat. Okay, the hoses, again, like most Mark 1 hoses, are in really good condition. It's only this, you just got to be aware of the top and bottom radiator hoses, but I've got to be honest, they look very, very good in condition, and most of the time they don't need changing, and I don't trust the aftermarket ones yet. We might have to go down that line at some point in the future. These are made of EDPM, which is an extremely hard-wearing, it's not rubber. They're not rubber hoses. EDPM is much stronger. It's like a polymer. There is rubber in there, but it's more polymer plastics than anything else. A very durable, hard-wearing material. And again, changing the antifreeze and the coolant helps preserve the hoses. Thermostat, aftermarket, but you must make sure this is an APEC thermostat. You must make sure that whatever thermostat you're buying, you have got the bleed hole, because the bleed hole goes at 12 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen, to allow air to bleed from the back of the system forwards through the radiator and bleed through the bottle. Some aftermarket ones don't have the bleed hole. If you want a genuine Ford one, £20. This was £10. I'm willing to spend a little bit less on it. By the way, this isn't the complete thermostat housing, because the front of it we've got to reuse, okay? But this bit, where the seal is, this is the important bit that mates to the surface of the cylinder head. Got to change that. Also, something I never changed last time, spark plugs. Yes, laser platinum spark plugs. Now these, yep, they are double platinum, meaning we have platinum on the tips of the center electrode and the earth strap. Okay, that increases the directness of the spark. Every Mark 1 Focus, petrol Mark 1 Focus, obviously not diesel, obviously. I was about to say that then, that was really bad. Platinum, double platinum spark plugs are what you should be buying. I've heard of members buying copper plugs because they're cheap. Yeah, but they don't run very well on copper plugs, do they? If you fit platinum plugs, you'll know the difference. The originals on Ford are platinum. Okay, platinum's been around for ages as a spark plug. I've heard of people putting other plugs on, but really honestly they were designed to use platinum plugs. These have been gapped, by the way, to 12 millimeters. The book says 13. They downshifted the gap to 10 millimeters because of coil pack failures. Yeah, but we don't have the original coil pack no more because it failed. Yes. So we've got an aftermarket one, a Delphi. That means we've got the uprated coil pack. So we can go to 13, but I've gapped these at 12. These were gapped at 10, as you can see at the end. PTR 5A 10. That's the number, okay? Laser platinum, that's for Zetec engines. Sigma engines, they use a different plug. Do not put Sigma plugs in a Zetec. They don't work properly. Guess how I found out? When I did the timing belt. Yes. Fuel filter, even though it looks like it's been changed, Borg & Beck BFF 8046 will fit all the petrols and it's the right size, Nick. I'll be changing that off camera because you've seen me do that before. And it looks like it's not going to be a particular struggle. So, we have all our bits. We have some built hamber over here as well. But that won't be yet. Anyway, I'm going to get cracking. Lovely. Well, try and get this. Oh, I haven't taken the cap off yet because I don't want a monsoon of coolant. But this this rubber bung, just get a screwdriver to unloosen it and then I'm winding it off by hand. There we go. Oh, got that rusty water coming out. It's very rusty. It needs a back flush, this car, because it's got a cast iron block and it just needs a good flush out because they do fur up over time. It's just natural. It's nothing to be worried about. It's not like a Sigma. All aluminium doesn't corrode and fur up. There we go. Done. You can't take the bung all the way out unless you really pull it all the way out. I don't really want to be doing that. There we go. That's gone. Just let a bit of gravity in. Oh, it's nasty in there. That's going to have to be cleaned up. Always making a total mess of the driveway. That is the most disgusting coolant that has come out of any of my cars. I mean, at least it's not brown, but it's going towards brown. Ugh. Loosen these bolts and I'm going to throw this blimmin' grill in the bin. I can't stand it. I'll just have no grill for a bit. Ugh. Oh dear. Oh. Oh my god, the whole thing's completely sheared. Bloody rubbish. Right, off you go. Oh, it's broken on this side as well. Honestly, what sort of person put this on? Oh. There we go. Oh, goodness. Right, I think I'll put those two bolts in there. Excuse me. Yeah, lovely. Oh, this can go in a bit of shame to start. Shame. Shame. Oh my god. Someone's cross-threaded this in already. Right. Got to replace that. This is a good start, this is. There we go. Got those hose clips off. Just give it a twist. if you're struggling to get these off, just give the whole hose a bit of a twist. If it breaks off, it doesn't matter because we're changing the bottle anyway. But if you're not changing the bottle, be very, very careful. I have to say, my initial impression of this car is that obviously Jason didn't have the car for very long, but I think the owner before him really did skimp on the repairs of this car. I mean, using strings to keep your heat shields on is just not acceptable. My MOT man would have a serious problem with that. There we go, come on. By the way, this is the overflow that goes to the top of the thermostat housing. There you go. So this whole pipe, I could just release the whole pipe from the front. That's the throttle cable. This pipe goes all the way here. I think I could just take that off actually. Come on. Go on, go, 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 go. Oh, come on. There we go. Done. Right, it came off in one piece, so that's all right. Okay, I'll put that in my spares. So that's your that's your expansion that goes into the bottle. Skimping is what I've been used to with most cars that I've ever bought, but Mark 1's, because it's a Ford and it's not worthy of people's attention, just watch that these don't break if you are reusing the bottle. And that's your overflow from the radiator. I'll just hook that in there, keep that out the way. There you go. Just managed to release that a little bit. There we go. Good. Just have to get a screwdriver behind there and just take the bottom hose out. If it's released, it probably ends up turning. There we go. That's not been released in many years, and yeah, we got a lot of. Oh my goodness me! There's a lot of rubbish in there. Oh gosh, yeah. This is going to need a bit of a flush out. This car, desperately. That again is going in the bin of bloody shame. Oh no! Look at that rubbish in there. Right, okay, so if I just put a bit of lighting on, that'll make things a lot more easier. So, coolant bottle out the way. We now need to detach this bypass hose with this pipe. Now, the clip's already broken off. It's just it's held in with fir tree clips, and you get new ones with the new pipe, which if it's a genuine one, you will get. They must have reused the clips. So basically, there is another clip down here. I'm just going to release that. It's just a little hose clip. That pipe goes all the way to the heater. Okay, this is like a heater bypass pipe. This pipe attaches to the bottom of the thermostat housing. I am not going to take this pipe off from that end because I can't get to that hose clamp. However, as you've seen, I've moved the bottom radiator hose, the top one, excuse me, not the bottom, the top one, to the thermostat. Okay, you're going to have to use this particular tool with this end. Okay, it's my special tool. Okay, you see me use that before. It's a hose clamp band tool, I think it's what it's called. We're just going to crack. Oh, that's cracked off easily. You know what it is? EDPM on plastic. That's the advantage of plastic thermostat housings. I've got a feeling. Oh, there we go. There's not much coming out anyway, but oh, well there is. Oh shit. Sorry, there's a lot more at the top there. I've got to watch that lambda sensor that's hanging around there. There we go. Oh, this is nasty. It's like rusty clay. Doesn't look too bad in there. But basically, we've got another hose that attaches at the back, and we're going to have to detach that after we've released the thermostat housing. I've moved the coil pack plug out the way because we need to get that. But before we deal with the thermostat housing, we need to release these. So, excuse me, there's a few of them. So we've got this one. There we go. Just that initial crack off that you need to just break it off. Okay, that's loose. I'll leave that for a second. I just need to get these a bit more loose first. You can click these hoses in to the point where they click. That's what's supposed to happen, and they hold their position. There we go, like that. But the problem with that position is you don't want to have your fingers near when you have to get a pair of pliers and squash it together. And believe you me, when these things go, they go. Look, see what I mean? They click back, and they do it in a rather uncontrolled manner. So I'd rather have control with the pliers. You're supposed to be able to put them in that position and move them with your hands. Oh, no, you don't. You've just seen what's happened there. It's just clipped back on me. And believe you me, that's enough to break a finger. The tension these are under. There we go. That's gone as well. That's just outsprung itself again. Just got to be so careful. All the hoses are in great condition. Now, I don't trust that. That's going to spring back on me again. Right, that's great. Oh, it is an original Ford one. Oh, it is. Where's the date stamp? 2004. And there's the remnants of the sticker. Oh my gosh, it is. It's the original one. Wow. For such a known failure point on Mark 1 Focuses with this engine, that has done 20 years and it hasn't broken. Wow. I think we've just proven that, well, potentially they can go on for a lot longer. That's amazing. I'm really, really impressed by that. You've become surprised by things all the time. And no doubt the thermostat, it's the original, 100%, and it's the original thermostat, the original thermostat and housing. It's got Ford written on it, it's the original. Now, we've got 3 bolts, we've got one here, one here, one here. They're long 10mm bolts, and I'll tell you something, unlike the ones that they fit to Sigmas down here with tiny little sods that like to snap flush with the block, these, they don't usually snap, he says. Oh, yep, that's gone. Lovely. Okay. Let's get the socket instead. Ugh, that's gone. That's good. Just use a short 10mm and then get the third one is down there, but the hose might get in the way. You've got to use a short socket. There we go. Crack. Just go gently and the whole thing is nice and free. Well, not completely, because the bottom hose, this right hand hose here, is connected, so we're going to have to sort of separate that in a second, but there we go. These bolts will come straight out. They'll just whiz straight out with my fingers. They're quite long, they're very long bolts. This is CVH origins. This is having the thermostat housing on the right hand side of the block is something that the Zetec engine very much inherited from its older brother. Oh, come on. Yeah, I've got that. I'm just gonna wiggle that out. Right. Job done. Okay, release. Take the handbrake off. There we go, lovely. This thing is a lifesaver. There we go, that's free, and well, it's almost free. I've just got to twist it off with 2 hands. Excuse me. There we go. Untwist. You're going to have some scraped knuckles by the end of this, I can guarantee. Oh, right. That hose is now released, and oh shit, the whole thing comes out. We have a total mess. That's the kind of, oh, look at that, look at all this. This has been leaking antifreeze in the past. There's antifreeze everywhere. Yep, this is what they do. They leak. They leak from here. The thermostat is inside here. We're going to have to take this apart in a second. Just a second. Yeah, so basically we need to take these torque screws out and take this front bit off. This front bit here is the bit that we need to reuse. This bit is the bit that's going, okay? You can get the complete thing sometimes if you buy one with the thermostat. Now, to change the thermostat, you just have to take the front cover off. So that's quite clever, actually. So well, you don't have to, we don't want you taking the whole thermostat housing off the engine to change the thermostat. You could just take the front bit off. But generically, guys, in today's world, you change everything, thermostat and the housing. And that thermostat is the original Ford one, and it has gone completely lazy. Now, for this reason, we're going to have to release this bottom heater bypass, which goes at the bottom, okay? So, excuse me. Oh, so much easier off the cart with a bit more space to just twist. There we go. Lovely. Okay, I'll just pop that hose over there. The clamps look in decent condition. Now, yeah, we're all free now. So, we're all out. Now, hose time. Right, coolant's removed, hose at the ready. We're going to do some flushing this way, down that way, through the radiator. Just flush it all over the place, really. It's going to make a mess, but the main thing is to wash as much of this away as possible. We don't want the cats getting to it. It is, antifreeze is poisonous. Okay, we've got some more going down there. And we want to flush it, back flush it, until the whole thing is as, well, that's just raining more rust. Oh, yeah, we're getting there. It's turning a bit more, less orangey. Yeah, we'll just keep flushing it out until it looks better already. There we go. Fantastic. It's still coming out quite nastily. The gearbox is getting a good washing down. I've noticed the only difference with this gearbox is that the gearbox cooling pipes are not rubber. They're actually plastic. So I've got a feeling that on Mark II Focuses with this exact gearbox, they would have had this exact serial gearbox. The serial number on this is a bit different, being a later one. Black dipstick, plastic pipes, yeah. Just geeky stuff. And what we're finding is, oh yes, we're getting water coming back out the return pipe because there's no cooling rail. Again, just wait till it goes a bit more whiter. Flush out that heater matrix. It's the #1 cause of heater matrix corrosion in Mark 1s. You don't want to be taking the dashboard out to replace one, believe you me. So preventative is always better. Goodness me, that was messy. I've just given the back end of the car a bit of a wash off, and the amount of rubbish that's come off them arch liners, I'm probably going to throw them in the bin, but goodness me. Right, so I have got to keep going with this thing because I keep trying to flush out the heater matrix. So I'm flushing through there and then through there, and it will come out vice versa. And every so often I will leave it for a few minutes, come back to it, stick that hose in, and it goes orange for about 10 seconds and then goes back to water. So there's soot and silt in that heater matrix that when you leave it and the water leaves the matrix, the silt goes to the bottom, you've disturbed it, and then it will come out again with the next burst of water, which I think that's what's happening there. So I'm going to continue with that. The radiator's clear, the cylinder block is clean, That's fantastic, and that's what we're doing. It's going to get messier than it gets cleaner at the end of the day. It'll do. So while that's all drying off, I'm going to do the spark plugs. Not ideal because there's water around, but anyway, let's just pull the leads off, and I'm going to actually do something I actually meant to do last time round. That doesn't look too bad actually. The gap, yeah, that's not that's probably a 13mm gap actually, but look, Motorcraft Platinum, it clearly says it on here. Okay, now I'm going to keep these, put these in my spares and replace them. If you note the tip, the platinum piece is on the end of the central electrode and the earth strap. This might be just platinum. Double platinum is where you got a bit of platinum at the end of both pieces, whereas platinum is just on the central electrode. That might be what the original plugs are. These are not, these are double platinum. Right, all done, spark plugs in, and the car has just started very, very nicely. Now, before we lose the light on this first day, I suppose we better split this into two. So we've got some Torx pieces just here. Lovely. So we've got three. And this will be a Torx T25, please. I've broken the seal between the two. There we go. We've got a seal that we've got to clean. Actually, hold on. Sorry about that. That was a very, very tight seal. This is the bit that will go in the bin. And this is the bit that we need to clean and put back on. Obviously, not the original thermostat. Oh, that's not correct. That won't do. No wonder it was coming on late. This thermostat has definitely been changed. 92 degrees it says there. That is incorrect. I'm sorry, on a Zetec, it's an 88 degree thermostat. Someone's put a 92 degree in there, and that's why I believe it was opening too slow. So we're just going to break the bond. There we go. Lovely. Head that away. It's not a Ford one. It has been changed before, and I don't know what it's coated in, but it probably does still work, but it's the wrong temperature, absolutely wrong, and that will really, really change the characteristics of the cooling system. Not good. Right, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to clean that up, and we're going to just screw those bolts neatly against the new thermostat. Obviously, we're going to put the new thermostat in. Make sure that when you put your thermostat into this housing, because remember it sits like this, okay, against the engine as we're facing it, we put the thermostat in with this disc at the back side. Make sure that you put it in like that, okay. Now we've got to offer it up to that piece, I suspect, first, but you've got to make sure that the bleed screw, the air bleeder, is at 12 o'clock. And I'll leave that there, and I'll tie that up, and I might end up doing a bit more hosing down before we lose the light, but as far as we're concerned, we're all good here. There's just one little thing that we got to deal with. Yes, I haven't forgotten about the wiper relays. Let's go to that to finish off. Right, what we need to do is get access to these two relays here in the fuse box. Now, we can't get access because of this stupid shroud. Now, the only way of doing it is by releasing the shroud box, the actual fuse box from the bracket shroud itself. So, we've got to release, I believe, this bolt here, which earths the bolt here. That's why it's important to disconnect your battery. So you just got one here. By the way, it's a 7mm. To take off the earth lead, there we go. that's just your earth there. Just pop that down the floor there. What the random screw is doing there. But there we go. Just get the other 7. This might be a bit tricky because you've got this strut in the way. Okay, so that's out. So I'm trying to give you as best lighting as possible. Now, that should be ready to unclip. Yeah, hold on. We've got a little clip there. You've got to push these clips in, okay? It will unhinge backwards. So you've got one here, go. Oh, come on, let's go. Right, there you go. Now, it might be a bit difficult to push the whole fuse box off the bracket, but now we've got access to these 2 buggers. And what I'm going to do, basically, we've just got to take these 2 out and switch them round because, well, I just want to see what happens by switching the relays around, because sometimes it does work. Now, getting them out could be a bit of a struggle, but just keep wiggling them out and you will get them out. There we go, there's one. I can't remember which is the rear, which is the front. Won't say there. I haven't got the owner's manual with me, but it doesn't matter because we're halfway there anyway. Could use those special relay pullers that I've got, but there we go. I've done it with my own hands. Now what I'm going to do is switch the relays around. Lovely. I'll just put that one there as well. Now, there is an earth disconnected, but I've got a feeling that wouldn't make a difference anyway. So, there we go. Right, that's in. All right, I'm going to leave it like that now. And I'm just going to go around to the front and connect the battery up. And we'll see if that works. Careful of the water. Ouch, sparking. Right. Yay, it's worked. There you go. I knew it would work. Bingo. Please tell me why that is a fix. Oh. No, you've got no CD in there. There's no CD. Turn off. Oh my God, it's still going. I seem to have a malfunctioning CD player now. I've disconnected the battery. The CD player just wants to load itself when there's nothing in there. Right, I'm going to leave that here. What a decent episode this has been. Catch me for the next episode. Little fixes.